Merci, Monsieur Chair. I'm missing the remote control for the slides. Someone took it. If I can ask the technician to bring me. It looks like nice mobile phone. Maybe someone took it by mistake. Okay. Thank you so much. This way. Okay. Yeah. Okay, it works. Your Excellencies, dear members, colleagues, and most importantly, dear host, I want to thank you again for this lovely, lovely welcome and hosting us in a way that we really feel like at home, even better. This session will be dedicated to some administrative issues. Obviously, as announced, we will be showing you the budget. I'm delighted to have my colleague Suzanne Rivera, who is treasurer and who is Catalan representative as well. So thanks to Catalonia, we have actually the function of treasurer being filled. And we are very happy to work with Suzanne and to present everything that has to be presented. You know, I can't help it. When you talk about budget with Regions 4, it looks, it's a bit, you know, I joined 10, 11 months ago, and doing budget and doing everything administrative it's not an easy task. I always think of the guy 40, 50 years ago who used to marry Elizabeth Taylor. And he used to say, a lot is expected of me, but you know, we can only deliver a little bit, you know, so take it easy. With this being said, I want to seize these first 2 minutes just to tell something. We are, you know, what you heard in the first part of the morning is very much what is on the menu of the Regions 4. Now, what is in the kitchen, you will hear now. What is behind the scene. So we are trying to make sure that everything is, you know, under control on many fronts. To address a few comments yesterday I heard during the dinner from few colleagues, I think it was Karima, Felix, and few others who were saying, so Regions 4 is because you have Rabah, Salek, and Itra, 3 regions. Why you're calling yourself 4? So, okay, let me say 4 in English is pour in Francais. So it's Regions 4 sustainable development. But obviously our actions are spanning further. It's biodiversity, climate change, and sustainable development. And I will now pass with few slides. We will walk you through at first the budget and then few other informations related to the headquarters and to some plans. Some of these slides are for your approval for voting or validation. So as we go, I will just ask for those that you need to validate whether there are objections. Unless there are objections, we will just move forward. So I'll pass the floor to Suzanne just to present you briefly in big figures the budget closed for 21 and the current one. Then I will take over to talk about next year.
Thank you, Ivan. I believe this is like the most tough part. So I kindly ask you 5 minutes of your attention for this. Okay. So following the network's values of transparency, accountability, and shared decision-making, I would like to proceed to report on the Regions 4 account, budget, and financial performance. As you know, Regions 4 accountancy complies with the procedures specified in the Belgian law, because we are a Belgian association since 2004. Our accounts are annually audited by PME Conseils, and our VAT declaration is presented before the Belgian authorities. I will present you the results of 2021 finances as per the official audit and the final result to 31st December 2021. We trust that this information, besides complying with all the legal requirements, this information could also help members better understand the assets and resources of the network that are crucial to the Secretariat's planning and performance of activities. We also hope that this piece of information enables a joint reflection on how to provide our network with additional funds to support and deploy the ambitious goals and objectives of the 2030 strategic plan. So, with regards to the 2020 accounts, and as according to the information that you have also received, we have received an income of 798 euros, almost 304k euros. And as you know, mostly of our current incomes come from membership fees and voluntary contribution of members. I have to please note that in 2021, 19 members have honored their membership fees. Okay. And also last year, 2021, the total expenditure amounted was 247,211 euros, and which all this expenditure includes expert fees, legal and accounting services, communication, and operational costs. Okay, and it's I think for the first time in several years that these accounts show a profit after tax of 50,000 euros more or less. Okay, please bear in mind that the Presidency of the Basque Country has provided with significant voluntary contribution to support the Secretariat. Likewise, Jalisco, Flanders, and Catalonia have also contributed for the organizations of events in 2021. Also, bear in mind that that there are some regions that also provide voluntary in-kind contributions, like Basque Country for communication, and also Catalonia for the treasury. Okay, so next slide, please.
So unless there are objections, this is the closed budget for 21. I will move to the current one. Yep. Okay. We can also vote, but I think it's easier unless there is an objection. And of course, if you need to clarify things, you can always come back to us. We'll be happy to respond. So we move ahead with the current one.
Mi jefe, que es mi jefe. Digo, las objections, venga. Y la tía.
Okay. No, this is the next one.
Thank you. So with regard to the execution of the 2022 budget, and as for 31st May, we have received 287,883 euros from membership fees and also voluntary contributions. And we hope that we could receive all the pending memberships and voluntary contributions that we expected to be receiving this year. Up to the end of May, the total expenditure has amounted 125,000 euros, almost 126k. And I have to say that for the time being, only 11 members have honored this year's fees. Okay. Please bear in mind that the collection of membership fees always puts the networks on a considerable treasury pressure. That's why I kindly ask you to honor your fees within the first semester of the year. That helps us a lot in terms of planning our annually activities. Also, please bear in mind that the Secretariat is doing a lot of efforts to support members and helping them to regularize their member status and trying to agree with them creative and innovative ways to being kept as members of the network. Okay, so this is almost everything from my end. I want to seize the opportunity to thank all members for supporting the network. As you know, the strength of this precious network is in its members, and we want and need active members. So we are always trying to explore with them appealing activities and services for you all. So this is all on my end, and now I'll take over to Ivan.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Suzanne. I think that it is very important to keep from Suzanne's presentation is that we managed, as she mentioned, for the first time to avoid January, February being very stressful by waiting for the new silo of membership fee to come through. So thanks to her and our joint secretariat efforts, we managed to bridge that period and to keep the reserve, which will allow us to avoid January, February being very messy. So this information is really for information. There is no need to vote. And the next one will be about the planned 2023 budget. Yeah, it's okay. As I said, going back to the menu versus kitchen, you have to know that we are basically since last couple of years gently increasing the budget, which reflects our primarily human resources needs and requirements. And as you can see, Secretariat is growing, so it's obviously logical that we have next year going further up. The figures that you can see are for your information and validation as a planned budget, whereas we are expecting the listed amounts to receive through membership fees and voluntary contribution, carrying some surplus that will be, as I mentioned, bridging the payroll. And also very important that I will come back later, Regions 4 got qualified with several other partners in a consortium to implement the Maya project, EU project on climate effects and change, that will give us some additional income. So that brings us to a total to close to 500,000, but once again, Regions 4 is not for-profit organization, so much of these funds are for the current staff and anticipated staff in the Secretariat to cover the new functions that are coming through later. I want to say that when it comes to legal and accounting costs that you can see there, I will provide some more information related to possible move of the HQ, which will then help us to save on these costs. So these are the figures for you to acknowledge, and unless there are objections, I can move on. Okay. Oh, well, if no objections, then it's considered approved. All right. So I want to also say that as much as we keep reminding you to meet your membership obligations in terms of covering the fees, this year has been better than last year's. We managed to collect, with the exception of most of it, which really helped us to run the operations and without any constraints. So I want to thank you all, and of course invite those few who for whatever reasons didn't manage to cover it, to do it at their earliest convenience. We started in September, October last year, a very important process of systematic growth of the Regions 4 in terms of its operations and program. That growth was conducted mostly institutionally through the Regions 4 Task and Growth task force. We managed, primarily thanks to members who are more committed to work closely with Regions 4 Secretariat on different issues, to actually expand and cover some functions and some roles that you heard in the precedent session this morning. I want to seize this occasion to say a big thank you to, first of all, Basque Country, which is the highest in terms of voluntary contribution, covering almost half, well, actually not almost, covering the entire management cost of the HR and the Secretariat. But I want to thank you, Catalonia, who extended Suzanne, as we just said, but also provided contribution to help us build biodiversity unit. This morning you heard Renata Gomez, who was presenting the important work under CBD. We are going to have, thanks to Catalonia, a second person in biodiversity unit as of July. I want to give special thanks to other two regions who provided contribution, Flanders and Quebec. But before that, a quick, just 1 minute floor to Catalonia representative, gentleman who is Marc, yeah, Director General. Perhaps 1 minute just to give us a reflection on that contribution, please. The floor is yours.
Gracias. En todo caso, queríamos poner en valor que, y permítanme también que hable del plan de acción, un momento que no toca en este contexto, pero quería agradecer anteriormente el trabajo y la predisposición del secretariado y todo el trabajo que se ha hecho por todo el staff técnico y de las oportunidades que se ofrecen de cara a un futuro, y por tanto nos parecía importante también apuntar. Ya no seguiré con otras cosas que quería, pero en todo caso no queríamos dejar pasar esta oportunidad para agradecerlo. En todo caso, lo que sí que queríamos poner en valor en este ámbito de los recursos económicos, la voluntad de participar con una contribución de 15.000 euros por parte de la Generalitat de Cataluña, del Gobierno de Cataluña, para cubrir gastos de redacción de estudios en materia de biodiversidad también, y el diseño y desarrollo de una web para el programa de Regions with Nature, porque creemos también que es importante llegar o en todo caso concretar algunos aspectos. Creemos que es importante a veces, ¿no? Y se decía en algún momento que quizás necesitamos espacios de concreción. Creemos que este es uno de ellos. Ver estos espacios de concreción yo creo que ayudan también a explicar, y van en la línea del que se apuntaba también en la intervención anterior, de dar publicidad, de comunicar todas aquellas acciones que llevamos a cabo, y por tanto desde este punto de vista aquella concreción de las acciones nos sirve para explicar qué somos. Nos ha de servir también, y aprovecho para, más allá de las contribuciones que hacemos cada uno de los miembros, intentar también explicar qué hacemos para intentar, como se explica también en el plan de acción, captar otras organizaciones, otros gobiernos para que también se incorporen a Regions 4, pero que además creemos que también nos va a dar pie a intentar colaboraciones con otros ámbitos, de intentar buscar otra financiación que no pase únicamente por los Estados miembros, por los gobiernos miembros de la asociación, sino que buscando algunos otros mecanismos que tengamos de financiación. Gracias.
Thank you so much, Catalonia. The next one, region which provided us with voluntary contribution that was earmarked for the communication position is from Flanders. And I believe that Kirina Huet is with us online. So if she's online, maybe we can give her floor for a 1 minute reflection on that contribution.
Okay, thank you for giving me the floor. I regret that I was not able to join you all in Rabat, and I want to take this opportunity to congratulate you on a successful meeting so far. Let me share with you that Flanders, as mentioned, is happy that it was able to make a voluntary contribution of 30,000 euros that will enable Regions 4 to strengthen its communication strategy and outreach. As we are strongly convinced that communication is key and has an important strategic importance. Annelies gave a good overview before the coffee break of all communication activities that will be carried out, and I have to say they look promising. And one specific result of this is the video we were all able to enjoy yesterday. I want to wrap up my intervention by saying that we are happy to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Regions 4 with all of you from Brussels, and we wish Regions 4 all the best in the years to come, and we look forward to our joint journey ahead.
Thank you so much, Kirina. I'm so sorry you're not here with us in person. You're missing amazing anniversary cake. You know, we are eating cake every day here with Maroc host.
You're making me jealous.
Thank you so much. Please stay with us. I will give floor now to Quebec. Julian is with us. Quebec provided us with another contribution to support climate change unit and to sustain actually a range of actions, especially under the Regions Adapt. Julian, the floor is yours. Please go ahead.
Merci, merci Yvan. Oui, donc le gouvernement du Québec est très heureux d'avoir été en mesure d'offrir une contribution volontaire de 30 000 € pour soutenir les activités de la communauté de pratique Regions Adapt. Nous l'avons mentionné, l'adaptation est un enjeu crucial qui nécessite des progrès substantiels, mais qui nécessite aussi une coopération très étroite. Et nous croyons que la plateforme Regions Adapt peut jouer un rôle très important pour appuyer les États fédérés, les régions à cet égard. Donc, nous sommes très heureux de cette contribution.
Thank you so much. And of course, as much as we are hosted here by Rabat region, our main host is Basque country, and we couldn't complete this slide and this section of presentation without having a couple of reflections from either someone online or a hobby representative. So please, you want to take, Alex? 1 minute, please, go ahead.
Yes, good morning. Salam alaikum. I think it's important to have new members, and we can go for it. But I think it's more important to share and to go to action between us. So I think it's more important to go to act technically. We have been discussing this morning, and how to do it, I think, is key for the next years. And also, I've seen the budget that for the first time, Region 4 have an external financial project, and I think it's a good news to go in this direction of looking for a new financial or external budget. And thank you very much, because I think it's a good meeting, and of course, congratulations to all the secretary.
Thank you so much, Alex. I will once again thank you so much for your contributions, and say that we are.
Sorry, I think perhaps my vice minister want to talk a little bit.
Yes, of course.
Sorry.
That's online, right? Okay.
Tell her that she could.
Sí, buenos días de nuevo. No, yo solo quería intervenir para recordar, bueno, tal y como nos han explicado, la importancia de alguna manera de tanto las aportaciones a través de la vía de la membresía de los miembros, como las extraordinarias para poder financiar a futuro de alguna manera esta red y poder trabajar en colaboración dentro del marco de los objetivos que nos hemos previsto. En ese sentido, pues solo recordar que a todos los miembros la necesidad de cumplir con las aportaciones establecidas y en la medida de las posibilidades de cada una poder contribuir extraordinariamente. Muchas gracias.
Thank you so much. And may I ask the audience for big applause to these 4 regions who are sustaining at the front, Regions 4, and you know, to help us to continue as we are doing, please. Now,
s'il vous plaît, j'ai demandé la parole.
Messieurs, oui, mais plus tard, s'il vous plaît.
Parce que vous passez à un autre chapitre. Or, on doit discuter justement de ce que vous venez de présenter à l'heure actuelle. Et nous n'avons pas une copie du bilan que vous avez présenté, premièrement.
Il y a une copie dans les documents qu'on a partagés, oui, oui.
Oui, mais on ne l'a pas. La deuxième chose, c'est que nous constatons quand même que les moyens sont insignifiants par rapport à l'action justement de Regions 4. C'est insignifiant par rapport à l'effort qui est fait.
Oui, merci.
Or, il fallait aujourd'hui, quand vous demandez la participation des autres régions, il y a des régions africaines qui ont des possibilités, d'autres qui n'en ont pas à travers tout le monde. Il faudrait qu'il y ait un indice de développement de telle manière à déterminer, et il faudrait qu'on détermine la cotisation en fonction du développement des régions. Et de telle manière à ce que les gens, lorsqu'ils vont retourner dans leurs institutions, qu'ils discutent budgétairement combien il faut apporter justement comme contribution à cette association. Parce que si on commence à dire uniquement oui, il faut participer, mais comment et avec quel montant il faut déterminer et la cotisation de telle manière à ce que les gens soient engagés, parce que vous savez très bien, on est déjà au mois de juin, dans très peu de temps, il va y avoir la discussion des budgets. Pour l'année prochaine, il faudrait que ce soit complètement préétabli. Si vous ne le faites pas, eh ben, il n'y aura rien.
Merci.
Voilà.
Thank you for that. I think just to avoid the confusion, you didn't receive the background documents because you are an observer member. That's why you don't have voting rights. But of course, at request, we can provide information. And thanks for your suggestion, which may go into changing the index of tarification. Going further, as our session, you know, I wouldn't say it was a bit squeezed, but we need to cover a few more issues. I think that we lost the slides for some reason. Just 1 second. Can we put them back, please?
Ivan, perhaps in the meantime, I see we have a suggestion from the chat from our online members participating. It's a suggestion from Augustin Centrenor. He's suggesting that we may that we think about indicating clearly which members are up to date with the payment of their membership fees or not, and that this should be shared with the rest of the members. That's his suggestion.
Okay, this is a suggestion that we are reluctant to doing because we don't want to call names. It doesn't help, you know. We prefer to do it on bilateral basis, but I understand the suggestion, so we can think how to address it. Any other comments from the chat, Natalia?
No, not yet.
Thank you. In the room? No, we can move on. Okay. So, so as I mentioned earlier, we do proudly can announce that we have 2 projects that are funded by the European Commission. One is with a consortium of 10-15 partners, which is called Maya project, that will start as of September 1st, 2022, very soon, over 3 years, giving us about 75,000 euros annually. Our primarily goal will be to connect, I mean, Regions for Secretariat, connect and reach out through our network, through you as members, to engage as many regions as possible within the policy dialogues processes. This contribution, this project will allow us to recruit as soon as this summer additional program officer who will be in charge of implementing this project on behalf of Regions for over the next 3 years. So that person will obviously be in direct contact with you as of September. Along these lines and within the same framework of the EC funding, we are currently bidding for a EU mission bid project, which intends to gather 150 European regions and communities to become climate resilient by 2030. Okay, I think we are back. Okay, good. I don't have to shout anymore. Okay. Sorry for translation. Yeah, but the sound is coming at the right moment. So this is more important than what I said before. Just, it's okay. What I want to say is that, look, advocacy is one thing, but we need to go further. We heard from Bretagne this morning, I believe, from Renault. We need to work more on the legacy, as the 20th anniversary is a way to, you know, stockpile what have been done, and it's a fantastic, impressive work. We need to go to step forward. We need to work on the legacy in terms of knowledge products, knowledge legacy. We need to produce a range of tools and products helping you and other regions to better carry these operations. Now, it's not to reinvent the wheel. I mean, we know very well that there are many tools, many manuals and so on. But as there are many cookbooks, you know, there is only one or two that allow you to make the favorite meal that you want to do. So we are aiming actually to make tools which will be slightly different, more straightforward, allowing our members and future members to go straight to the point, to have action sheets, as mentioned this morning, one pager, how to do things, what is the budget, how to map what are your needs, and so on. And that can go into many directions, you know, such, for example, we mentioned that we want to relaunch, I'm coming to that, the exchange of experts. Let me just change slides so that it comes to that. For example, you know, relaunching the exchange of competencies and visiting experts will entail, of course, obviously, common work, but we need to package it with the knowledge products such as accountability tools, diagnostic tools, and so on. Or when it comes to mapping tools, you know, in biodiversity, there are many great projects, but there is a range of knowledge products that is missing to create enabling environment and make the actions more sustainable. So this is where we are, you know, where we are directing our operations in the time to come. And I don't want to go furthermore because obviously we have time constraints, but just to address some of the points that have been shared yesterday and today, and to tell you that we are on the same page, that basically this is also the direction we are thinking. Now, to just conclude on two slides that I want to show you. One is the issue that we discussed, I believe, last General Assembly. The Regions 4 is currently registered in Belgium legally, and such registration cost us. We are not physically there. We do not have any anchorage in Belgium, a part of legal basis. And that, of course, in turn, it's me who speaks. Please stop. I think we were thinking over the last year or two to how to rationalize and optimize our work. Being also teleworking, trying to, you know, have some physical contact and so on. So as you, those of you who participated last General Assembly know, we proposed to move the headquarters to Spain, to register it in Spain, because in Spain we have several members, and then we'll see eventually, you know, after Basque, who can take, you know, the hosting part. As shared before, we want to inform you that the involving cost will be about 10,000 euros, which will be in a year or two times then compensated through the savings, as some savings are anticipated on the VAT part that we are paying for the staff not based in Spain, and obviously for the legal support which we are paying currently the Belgium company. It will also allow us to be closer to the bank where the membership fees are. It will make our life and life of Suzanne also much easier and lighter. So we will, if validated, of course, by members, we will move ahead with the implementation of this as of September, the idea is not to do it immediately because we don't want to be in position to have to transfer a large amount of money, but rather do it towards the end of the year when we can just do in parallel, you know, cancellation of one association and creation of another one, maybe November or December. Do you have any questions, comments on that or reaction? No? Okay. I promise we are not going to speak only Spanish once we move to Spain. It's okay. So now the last part, I don't see Eloise. Eloise, do you hate me? It's okay. I'm fine. Great. Just to see where we are. Yes. Okay. I want to say that, to finish and conclude, just by saying the following: a huge work that you saw and that you are now participating wouldn't be obviously possible without increased strength and secretariat. So, as you saw, we have Melissa, we have Annalise, and the secretariat is, I would say, firmly, rationally increasing. We are very careful how to cover different operations. And what is ahead of us is basically that in addition to strengthen communication, to strengthen biodiversity and climate change units as proposed and supported by voluntary contributions, we are in process of hiring a Maya program manager who will probably, as of August, September, be in touch with you and be presented so that you can follow on these actions. The critical thing at the moment is how to fulfill the SDG program position. As Natalia mentioned earlier, it is currently being covered and shared by and led by Natalia, but shared by the rest of the team. We are in communication and discussion with several members on possibility of secondments and having that person being seconded. So if any of your region has someone who is skilled in SDG, different processes and agendas, and you are willing to allocate some of the time of that person, we will be more than happy to integrate that person in the secretariat. It is the way to go to bridge the period until we fundraise appropriate funds to actually hire, simply because majority of your interest is currently leaning towards climate change and biodiversity. And SDG, we need to advertise obviously more. And ideally, if that's why the budget proposed for 23 was close to $500,000, we would think of having administrative assistant who can support on a range of day-to-day administrative issues, allowing treasurer and primarily position of executive director to reallocate more time to the more strategic issues, to more fundraising issues and so on. As it is as of now, I'm spending a lot of my time dealing with the small petty issues which should be perhaps done by more junior staff. I think that I will stop here and perhaps allow you to sorry, I've been reminded that I need to also put for your voting, for your validation, an important point, which is the following. We, as you know, had in the past administrators being the vice presidents, but for the Belgian company, a legal company, which is taking care of our accounts, this is very complicated because vice presidents are changing often, and then each time there is a change, they need to go through a process of 3-4 months to re-register and so on. So what they were proposing is to have a minimum, which is mandatory, of 3 administrators, being Secretary General, Treasurer, and Executive Director. If this is okay for you, then we will take it as they propose. Otherwise, you will have to vote against, and then we'll step down as administrators. If this is okay. It's just a really pro form thing that for a range of signatures, you know, that they are asking us taxes and these kind of things. Now I see Heloise who stood up, which means that my time is counted by seconds, but still, if there are burning issues that you want to blame me, it's time now, because I'm going to the beach afternoon. I'm joking. Do you have any questions, comments, anything that you want to raise following what you heard now this morning? No? Okay, thank you very much for the validation points. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for applause. I've never received applause presenting budget. This is your really kind audience. I'm really pleased. I give the floor back to the chair and my dear Chief Natalia, and remain, of course, at your disposition for any discussion, comments, and so on. Thank you.
Merci, Monsieur Ivan. La séance consacrée au budget et finances arrive à sa fin. Donc, on va commencer la session 3 qui est consacrée aux gouvernances, et je donne la parole à Madame Natalia, notre secrétaire générale de Regions 4.
Thank you so much. So this morning we had the chance to go through the plan of action and all the amazing work that is being prepared by our fantastic team, and all the opportunities for the members, all the work in advocacy, technical. And now this past session was looking at finance, and how it is also part of our strategic objectives is to really evolve towards financial stability of the network. It is an important point. We are in the process of changing the business model from being dependent exclusively on membership fees towards a scenario in which we have a diversified different sources coming from external partners, donors, and different opportunities. So we are in that transition. We are along that path. And as you have seen today, as you have heard from Ivan, we are already having some first results, and we are very happy for that. But of course, I would also like to underline one of the comments that we heard this morning from the representative of the International Association of the Francophonie, is that the budget is quite insignificant if we compare it to the work that we have, to the demands that we have, to all the opportunities, and to our ambitions, right? So that's part of the work that we want to walk together with you. So now we have the session looking at the governance. And we can put the first slide, please. And Regions 4 had its first elections in 2020, and there you voted the member regions that are the leading political representatives of the organization. And during those elections, we agreed that the board of chairs would run from 2020 to 2022, and that this year in 2022, their mandate could be renewed for additional 2 years, right? So at the beginning of this year, we asked those that were part of the board of chairs whether they wanted to renew their mandates, and who was ready to step down, and if there were any other proposals. And this is what we have to agree here today. So our presidency for the past 2 years, and has requested to renew the mandate for other 2, would still be the Basque Country, and our president, Madame Arantxa Tapia. On behalf of the vice presidency for Africa, Rabas Kenitra has still expressed interest to renew the mandate for additional 2 years, and so has Jalisco on behalf of the Americas. Now, on behalf of Europe, we heard from Flanders their will to step down as Vice Presidency for Europe. And we opened the process and we received the nomination from Lombardy region to become the new Vice Presidency for Europe. All these letters, expressions of interest, are part of the documents that we have shared with you all in the background materials that you have in the USB keys within your bags. So you all have received this information. We shared it also in a previous email so that you can have all this and so that we could be ready to approve it today. An important thing that has happened is we had received initially the interest of La Réunion to continue being Vice Presidency for Asia. But however, in the past days, they have confirmed their will to step down of this position. And the truth is that we don't have any other members from Asia willing to take over this place. And this is a reality, and this is something that we heard also yesterday from Fernando Rey, right? We have a gap in Asia, and we are aware of it, and we are identifying regions that could be interesting leaders for the network. We are exchanging with Maharashtra in India. They are members of Regions Adapt now, and we are in the process for them to become members of Regions 4 as well, we hope soon, but we are not there yet. So for the time being and for your approval, we will request today 3 different things. One, that you agree that that the presidency, vice presidency for Africa and the Americas, their mandates would be renewed for 2 other years. The next point would be that we welcome Lombardy as the new vice presidency for Europe. And the third point is that we agree that we don't have for the time being a vice presidency for Asia, and that any suggestions or contacts and ideas on how we can work together to find this for the future, we would be working together on this. So do you have any objections, any observations? I see none. So then I think we are, yes, we can applaud, yes. Yes.
Une question, est-ce que vous avez la représentativité de tous les continents ou bien rien que ces continents qui sont représentés ici? Le continent américain et australien aussi. Je voudrais bien savoir, est-ce que vous avez la représentativité de tous les continents? Et merci beaucoup.
Yes, yes, we do have representation from all the continents, but indeed for Asia and Oceania, we have a very small amount of regions. Like we have South Australia that you're mentioning, Australia, but it's true that it's part of the work that we have to do in the coming years. Yes. Okay, yes, I see there's a question from Badarassam, Vice President of Luga.
Merci, Natalia. Monsieur le Président, Madame la Secrétaire, nous félicitons encore une fois l'équipe de Région 4 pour l'ensemble des informations que nous ont fournies ce matin à travers le travail de titan qu'ils ont abattu. Donc, mention spéciale à tous les membres du bureau. Donc, l'équipe technique. Donc, pour la présidence et la gouvernance, bien sûr, au futur, j'aimerais bien juste aussi féliciter encore une fois monsieur le ministre de par son engagement. Parce que l'année dernière, il nous a permis vraiment au réseau d'organiser une rencontre précoce qui nous a permis de très bien préparer notre participation à l'événement. Donc, merci encore une fois, monsieur le ministre. Et sans aucun doute, nous savons que vous allez beaucoup travailler pour ce réseau, bien sûr, concernant l'Europe. Revenir aussi sur un aspect important, c'est de féliciter encore le Maroc, surtout Rabat, qui a assuré, bien sûr, la présidence de l'Afrique. et qui a fait beaucoup de pas, il faut le reconnaître. Aujourd'hui, avec les membres africains, et vous conviendrez avec moi qu'aujourd'hui, la participation massive des régions africaines nous a édifié amplement par rapport à cette efficacité de notre présidence, de la présidence, c'est-à-dire le Maroc. Donc, Président, nous vous remercions et souhaitons vraiment un bon déroulement à nos activités et vive Région 4. Merci.
Thank you so much, Valara, for these kind words. And now it's a great pleasure to give the floor to Minister Cataneo from the Lombardy region as new Vice Presidency for Europe.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Just a few words to express my gratitude to all of you, my honor for the new position as Vice President for Europe. It seems to me that the next 2 years will be very challenging for me, for my region, but also for our network. Most of all in Europe, because we are in a quite complex context. We are facing the crisis, the recovery from the pandemic, and now the new crisis of the war in Ukraine, which affect, for instance, the energy sources. So we have to work in this context, and in the same time, these are the 2 key years. The next 2 years will be the 2 key years for the new programming period of the European Commission on cohesion policies, and most of all, on the issue of climate change and sustainable development, which is the driver of the new programming period of the EU fund. So we have challenge, risks, but also a lot of opportunities. And let me address you 4 concrete proposals as my, let me say, my program, in a sense, as new Vice President for Europe. First of all, talking about funding. We have a lot of potential funding that we can get from the European Commission. And as Ivan has just shown us before, we have the opportunity to work for common projects for sustainable development, applying for EU codes. We have seen Maya, we have seen the other EU project. It seems to me that we can work together as European members of the network, but also in cooperation with members coming from other continents to get not just funding, but also the opportunity to cooperate in a concrete way. Second proposal is the enlargement of the European members of Regions 4 network. We are 12 members, if I see right the data, 12 European members. We from 6 different countries. Well, it seems to me that in next 2 years, we have to increase the number of the members. Let me say at least 5 new members from at least 2 new countries. For instance, we have no German-speaking members. And probably we need to engage some regions from the German-speaking area. So important in you. And the third proposal is regarding adaptation policies. I completely agree that adaptation is now our key priority, but let me underline a specific aspect, very important in Europe. We have a lack of indicators. When we talk about adaptation, what does it mean? It seems to me that the determination of adaptation indicators to evaluate the outcomes of adaptation action is a need. And it is necessary to build a set of indicators based not just on theories, but also on our experience. It could be a perspective, a working perspective for our activity, most of all in Europe, because to get also the fund of European cohesion policies, we need to show clear indicators. And last proposal is about biodiversity policies. I don't know what is the situation in the other continents, but in Europe, it seems to me that the awareness about biodiversity loss is not so high. everyone in Europe, institution, politician, but also public opinion, citizens, are aware about the risk of climate change and global warming. But it's not the same about biodiversity loss. Despite the fact that the European Environmental Agency clearly showed that the risk connected by the biodiversity loss are greater than the risk connected with global warming. So we have to increase awareness about biodiversity, and we need to stress our activities in this field related with the new European biodiversity strategy that give us a solid basis to work together. Very important is the Edinburgh Declaration. We agree to the Edinburgh Declaration, and I support our activity in this direction. The initiative Regions with Nature is an excellent platform to take into reference for issue of integrated nature into urban planning. And also COP15 will be a very important opportunity to deploy our activities, but also to increase the awareness of our citizens. It seems to me the most important policy we can do together, because if we will be able to increase awareness of our citizens, we will be sure that the concrete results will arrive. On the opposite, without the involvement of the citizens, our activity probably will not be successful the same way. So thank you once again for your confidence in me, and I assure my commitment and the commitment of the region in our important activity for the next 2 years and also for the next 20 years to celebrate together the next 20th anniversary. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and congratulations to Lombardy. Lombardy has been a very engaged and active member and a natural ambassador of Regions 4. So thank you also for coming already with concrete proposals in this new role. So we take good note of proposals to go further in the funding, including Economic Commission, engagement, enlargement with other EU members. We'll talk about membership a little bit later. And concrete, looking at technical level adaptation indicators. And this is something that we are hearing from different regions, this interest to help in monitoring. And that is why also the next session of the Regions Adapt Community of Practice will deal with this topic. So I think we are well aligned there. And finally, also the need to increase awareness raising across citizens on biodiversity in particular.
Okay.
So we take good note of that, and thank you so much. Congratulations in this new role. So the next point in our agenda, together with the Board of Chairs, the steering committee, as you know, is an important body of our organization. And in your screen, you can see the list of the members that are part of the steering committee, which are those from the Board of Chairs, plus others that were also voted in the 2020 elections. So this year we gave again the opportunity for them to continue and for other new ones to join. And here we are very pleased to have received the nomination from Scotland. So you also have the information in the background documents. Scotland has been leading the biodiversity and climate agendas, has very recently joined the Advisory Committee on Subnational Governments, and we hope that we can approve today as new members of the steering committee. So this is for your approval now, if you agree. Yes, well then, welcome Scotland. New member of the steering committee, which is very important in helping us define our strategies and really the strategic orientation and decision making of the organization. So it is with great pleasure that I give the floor now to the Minister McAllen from Scotland.
Thank you, Natalia, and thank you everybody for welcoming us to the steering committee. I should like to begin just by congratulating all of those who've been re-elected to their vice presidential positions, and indeed to congratulate Minister Cataneo for his new role. We very much look forward to working with you in it, both as part of Regions 4, but equally as Scotland is co-chair of the for Europe for the Under 2 coalition. It would be interesting to see how we can bring those together. But we're delighted to join you on the steering committee. It's been a pleasure to listen to insightful contributions over the course of this assembly. And with the opportunity today, I might just set out perhaps our top 3 priorities for our joining you in Regions 4. Firstly, on linkages, we hope to bring our experience in tackling the twin emergencies of climate change and biodiversity loss, as well as the work that we have been seeking to drive on international climate justice and on tackling loss and damage. I'll try and say more about the latter throughout the course of today, but for now, I just want to share our experience and say to you that we are here to learn from you. Secondly, regarding capacity, we want to work with the Secretariat and with members to take what has been very important planning and ambition and turn that into delivery and thereafter monitoring. We can build resilient communities. We can do so in a way that is fair, which acknowledges that climate change does not impact our states and regions and nations equally, and which acknowledges that change has to come, but communities must be supported in that change. And we would like to work with the Secretariat to understand how we can help contribute to that. And just finally, on our third priority, which is an ongoing priority for recognition, we want to help Regions 4 to continue to be a bridge to help give states and regions the voice that we know we are so capable of having, and to gain the recognition on the international stage. We will use our position as the host city for COP26 as we plan for COP27 to support Regions 4 in that. And we will also use that co-chair position of the Under 2 coalition as well. So that's what we hope to bring, but most of all, we are here to learn because, as I mentioned yesterday, nobody has all the answers. None of us have time not to collaborate, and we very much look forward to learning from all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Scotland and congratulations. We're really happy. We have been working closely with you on biodiversity and the Edinburgh process, and also in preparations and during COP26. And we take good note of your priorities that are very much aligned with ours. So it's great to see the importance for the linkages in bringing together both agendas, the biodiversity and the climate action one. Also, this important priority of climate justice and the loss and damage agenda that Scotland proved to be leading at COP26 in Glasgow, and the capacity building efforts and moving from planning to delivery. Finally, Regions 4 as a voice to help regions get international recognition. So we really look forward to working more together with you on this. Thank you. So now we move to the next point of our agenda, which is on looking precisely at members. If we can go to the next slide, please. Members, of course, are the heart of our network. And you saw yesterday that we presented the broad community. So we have 42 core members, but we interact with a number of initiatives and other members. And then we are in the Secretariat doing important efforts to increase the membership, and that this is done in the different geographical areas. So in the screen, you can see the ongoing efforts. Just a reminder that in our Strategic Plan 2030, we agreed to double the number of members from here to 2030. So this means that approximately we should be aiming at bringing 4 new members each year to the network. So this, we have to do it together. It's the Secretariat with your help. We want you to help us and to point to those partners that are, to those regions that you are already working with, that you think can benefit from the network and that you think can bring value to the network. Those are the ones we really look forward to building relations. So last year we were very happy to have as new member La Rioja. Currently we are in process with some of the regions like Rio de Janeiro, who's in process of becoming a member. And you can see there the different statutes. So today, we want to ask your approval of a new member, which is Guanajuato in Mexico. This candidature has been already submitted for approval of the steering committee, and Guanajuato, we have began to work with them as member of Regions Adapt, and we have them today joining us online, even though it's very, very early in Mexico. So thanks so much for joining us. We are happy to welcome Mrs. Sandra Herrera, who is Subsecretary of Environmental Policies and Climate Change. So if she is ready, we can give her the floor.
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning. Good morning from Guanajuato, that is in the center of Mexico. We are very pleased to be with you. And on behalf of our ministry, Marisa Ortiz, we want to congratulate you for your anniversary. And now, if you don't mind, I will switch to Spanish. Thank you very much. Bueno, para nosotros es muy importante pertenecer a esta alianza. Agradecemos muchísimo la oportunidad de poder formar parte de esta red tan importante de gobiernos y regiones subnacionales que creo que podrán seguir aportando muchísimo a todo lo que es pues las decisiones que a nivel mundial se deben tomar con respecto al cambio climático y también para el rescate de la biodiversidad. Me parece que es muy importante resaltar que con este tipo de redes damos pues sentido al objetivo del desarrollo sostenible 17 de alianzas, y me parece que pues ese tiene que ser el motor que nos ayude a poder mejorar las condiciones climáticas y la protección de la biodiversidad en todos los niveles, tanto en lo local como en lo subnacional, así como a nivel global. Entonces, creo que no debemos dejar esta forma de trabajo. Por un lado, como lo he escuchado, para nosotros va a ser muy importante el poder enriquecernos de las experiencias que se tienen en las diversas regiones con respecto a estos temas, y también poder compartirles lo que nosotros estamos trabajando. En estos momentos en Guanajuato nos encontramos fortaleciendo pues dos pilares muy importantes para poder hacer frente al cambio climático. Por un lado, estamos en la revisión de la ley del estado de Guanajuato de cambio climático, y por otro lado también estamos fortaleciendo el presupuesto estatal para poder atender justo los diversos temas que pues nos retan con respecto al cambio climático. Esta posibilidad de tener un presupuesto que no solamente ejerza la Secretaría o Ministerio de Medio Ambiente de Guanajuato, sino todas las secretarías que conforman el gobierno estatal es un gran avance. Es un gran avance en el sentido que se reconoce que el tema de cambio climático es transversal, que es responsabilidad de todos y pues también aportan el dinero que es necesario para tomar las medidas que puedan pues ayudarnos a ser más resilientes. Por otro lado, también estamos buscando financiamiento que nos ayude a consolidar pues proyectos distintos en materia de biodiversidad. Estamos en estos momentos trabajando con UNDP, el Programa de Naciones Unidas para el Desarrollo, para tener un mapeo, un reconocimiento de dónde están, primero, dentro del gobierno de Guanajuato, aquellos mecanismos que van a permitir que podamos pues ir a buscar financiamiento, ya sea a bancos locales, bancos internacionales, a cooperación internacional, y cómo podemos aplicar de mejor manera esos recursos para la protección de la biodiversidad. Y me parece que pues esos son avances muy importantes porque, como lo comentaba al principio, son esfuerzos que se realizan en alianzas, son esfuerzos que van siendo reconocidos por áreas que no son exclusivamente las de medio ambiente, y creo que pues es un buen camino. Finalmente, quisiera decirles que también estamos trabajando para que nuestros asentamientos humanos pues puedan, por un lado, estar prevenidos y protegidos ante pues embates de fenómenos que se han pues hecho más grandes, más fuertes cuando se presentan, como son efectos de lluvias en un corto periodo de tiempo, huracanes. Hacer a las ciudades más resilientes para poder tener calidad de vida. Tareas importantes que tendremos es el de reducir la temperatura en las ciudades, reducir las islas de calor y también atender el tema de agua, un tema que se vuelve muy crítico en todo el país, pero sobre todo en los estados, en las regiones del centro y del norte de nuestro país. También la parte económica es muy importante y estamos trabajando para hacer una ruta para la transición hacia la economía circular con una visión de acción climática. Es decir, no solamente estaremos tratando de medir cómo hacemos un uso más eficiente de los recursos, cómo podemos llevar más residuos al reciclaje, sino también cuál será el impacto en el cambio climático. Con esto queremos pues realmente poder impactar en todos los objetivos del desarrollo sostenible, pero repito, creo que las alianzas pues son el mejor y el primer paso que hay que dar. Muchísimas gracias.
Muchísimas gracias. Thank you very much to Guanajuato. Thank you for joining us today, even though it's really early. We know that you tried to come here in person. We would have loved to welcome you here, but we know that at the last moment you weren't able to. We heard some of interesting work you're already doing, like strengthening the budget and mainstreaming your climate efforts. We actually had the opportunity to hear about that in our last community of practice session, in which Guanajuato was explaining in detail how they're engaging different departments and coordinating across different sectors, and including mainstreaming climate action in their different budgets. It's also very important to note that the president, the secretary of the environment for Guanajuato is the president of the National Association of Environmental Agencies in Mexico. So there we are working together to strengthen more direct collaboration with each of them, and hopefully so they can also join and work more closely with us. And we also heard from Guanajuato an important issue, which is the sustainable management of water resources. We know that this is a priority for many of the regions, and we will have the chance also to hear from this afternoon in our event. So I would like to ask now for an applause for Guanajuato, a new member, and to welcome them to our network.
Thank you very much to all of you.
Thank you. And regarding new members, we actually have a new announcement that I will give the floor now to the Vice President of Rabasa-Lequenitra, Monsieur Bembarek. He will share it with us now.
Merci Natalia. Aujourd'hui, nous avons une nouvelle région. Il s'agit de la région de Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes qui a exprimé sa volonté d'adhésion à Regions 4. Donc, il veut être sur la liste des membres et ils attendent la validation de Regions 4. Merci.
Yay. Thank you. It is really great news. And I think this shows also the important role of the vice presidencies in leading and helping us connect with regions that can bring value to our network and that can benefit from our network. So thank you so much, because Rabasa-Lequenitra is very active, and we know that you're also actively leading with other regions in Africa as well. So thank you so much for this. And yes, we would really like Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes to join us. We will be exchanging with them following the General Assembly so that we can submit the candidature to the steering committee and hopefully welcome you to our network very soon. Regarding new memberships, are there any other suggestions, comments, ideas, proposals coming from the room today? Okay, so then we can move to the last point of our agenda, which is on partnerships. We have heard it throughout our sessions. To have more impact, to have better positioning, to have more capacity to influence, we must be able to collaborate more and better, and to do it in a very clear and honest and efficient and intelligent way. And we really believe in this. I want to share with you this picture that I found walking at COP26 in Glasgow last year, that I think it's a fantastic reminder for all of us, right? To remember this and to really make this call for us to collaborate more and better. So we are working a lot on this, on building more partnerships. We are now going to renew our joint work plan with the Committee of European Regions. We have recently, last year, as you know, signed the MOU with ICLEI to work together on regions with nature. Last year, we worked with Under 2 Coalition on the What's at Stake campaign, and this year we have developed a joint work plan to go further. And as was mentioned this morning, we're going to jointly organize an event at COP27. So we continue with the Assembly of European Regions, with the Global Task Force, so with the Basque Center for Climate Change. So this is an important part of our strategy, and we are concretely reinforcing this work. So following the previous communications, today we have 2 new partnerships for your approval. So one of them is with Orufogar. Orufogar and Regions 4 have a long history of collaboration, but this is the first time that we would have a joint official partnership to collaborate more and better and more strategically. We have shared with you the MOU, and we included some of the comments that we received from the steering committee. So if there are no further objections, we would be happy to announce and be able to sign this formal partnership with Orufogar. Any comments, objections? Great. And the other one we have for you today is with CDP. CDP, as you know, have been our partners for the reporting within the Regions Adapt initiative, the annual reporting of regions' efforts to adapt to climate change. And we are now renewing our previous MOU to work on reporting, but also to see how we can collaborate more on capacity building as well. So if there are no comments or objections, we are also happy to move forward in this partnership as well. Yes? Okay, and talking of partnerships it is really a pleasure to give the floor now to hopefully a future partnership that is being cooked right here at this General Assembly. If we can please have Madame Rajai Shafil, which is the General Director of the Center of Competences on Climate Change, Le Centre 4 Maroc, the 4C Center in Morocco. Is she here? She is. Okay. She is outside. If somebody can. She just, okay. She had to leave for a moment. She's in the coffee room there. Okay. Because for us, of course, it's very important to build partnerships with technical partners. You heard that we're working closely with the Basque Center for Climate Change, and we'd be very happy to, thanks to the Vice Presidency of Rabat Saleh Kenitra, to have a similar partner here in Morocco to help us work at the technical level and capacity building with regions, particularly in Africa. So Madame Rajai Shafil is now with us, and I'm happy to give her the floor to share more about your work and potential ways of collaboration with us. Thank you so much.
Bonjour tout le monde. Tout d'abord, j'aimerais présenter tous mes remerciements à la région de Rabat Saleh Kenitra d'avoir invité le Centre 4C Maroc à participer à cette importante réunion. Et je voudrais remercier également vivement les organisateurs de ce forum de Région Four de m'avoir donné la parole. En fait, moi, je me présente. Je suis Raja Shafil, je suis la directrice générale du Centre de compétences en changement climatique, le Centre 4C Maroc. Alors, c'est quoi le Centre 4C Maroc? Le Centre 4C Maroc a été créé à l'aube de la COP 21 déjà, donc en 2015. Il a été créé et c'était dans la perspective de l'organisation de la COP 22 sur les changements climatiques à Marrakech et au-delà. Alors, le Centre 4C Maroc, c'est quoi? En fait, le Centre 4C Maroc est un centre marocain et africain d'appui aux politiques climat, aussi bien pour les administrations, mais surtout pour les collectivités territoriales et pour les élus. Notre travail consiste en fait à appuyer les collectivités territoriales et tous les autres acteurs, qu'ils soient du secteur public ou privé, pour tenir compte de la problématique des changements climatiques dans tous les projets et surtout dans les politiques de développement. Alors aujourd'hui, nous tournons dans toutes les régions marocaines pour les aider à analyser en fait les insuffisances qu'il y avait dans les anciens PDR qui, comme on le sait, à part celui de Rabat d'ailleurs, n'avaient pas tellement tenu compte de la problématique des ressources naturelles, de la biodiversité et des changements climatiques. Et nous les aidons, nous leur montrons en fait, nous montrons aux collectivités territoriales comment est-ce qu'elles peuvent mieux faire dans les nouveaux PDR qui sont en cours d'élaboration maintenant en 2022 pour mieux inclure la problématique des ressources naturelles et des changements climatiques. Alors, ce que nous faisons aussi, c'est qu'au-delà donc de ces formations, nous assistons également les pays dans la traduction de leurs contributions déterminées au niveau national, les CDN, comment les traduire en des projets bancables, parce que j'ai entendu parler tout à l'heure, beaucoup de gens parlaient de la difficulté d'accès à la finance climat. En fait, cette difficulté d'accès à la finance climat, elle n'est pas seulement marocaine, elle n'est pas seulement africaine, mais elle est vraiment internationale et surtout pour les collectivités territoriales. Parce que autant les administrations et les départements sectoriels arrivent à mobiliser de l'argent, autant moins en fait les collectivités territoriales et les élus. Ils ne savent pas à qui s'adresser. Quelles sont les priorités pour chaque bailleur, comment élaborer un projet bancable, etc. Et c'est là où le Centre 4C Maroc agit en appuyant en fait toutes ces entités à élaborer des projets bancables. Ce que je voudrais dire aujourd'hui, c'est que sur orientation de Sa Majesté le Roi, que Dieu l'assiste, le Centre 4C Maroc apporte aujourd'hui son appui à plus de 35 pays africains, parce que vous savez que lors de la COP22 tenue à Marrakech, Sa Majesté le Roi, que Dieu l'assiste, avait appelé à la création de 3 commissions climat. La commission climat du bassin du Congo, la commission climat du Sahel et la commission des petits États insulaires. Et Sa Majesté le Roi, que Dieu l'assiste, nous a mis en tant que centre d'excellence à la disposition de tous ces pays africains pour les aider dans leur politique climat. Nous sommes très fiers de dire aujourd'hui que le Centre 4C Maroc a réussi à appuyer ces 35 pays dans la mise en place de fonds novateurs climat. C'est le Centre 4C Maroc qui a appuyé l'étude de préfiguration du fonds bleu du bassin du Congo qui est domicilié maintenant à la BDEAC. Et nous sommes en train de finaliser avec les pays du Sahel la mise en place du mécanisme financier du Sahel. Juste peut-être une dernière information qui est vraiment très pertinente pour tout le monde et pour toutes les régions et les pays participants ici, c'est que ces dernières années, on s'est aperçu qu'il y avait un épuisement de l'expertise dans le domaine des changements climatiques au Maroc, bien sûr, en Afrique et au niveau international. Et on s'est dit, en plus de nos activités, nous allons procéder à l'empowerment des jeunes, notamment des jeunes filles, pour les mettre sur le marché du travail en tant que jeunes experts dans le domaine du changement climatique. Et donc, avant le démarrage même du Covid, nous avons mis en place les masterclass du 4C Maroc. Cette masterclass du 4C Maroc forme chaque année gratuitement 300 jeunes africains et africaines, en majorité des filles, parce que de chaque pays, nous tenons à prendre plus de filles que de garçons. C'est fait exprès, parce que même au niveau international, il n'y a pas beaucoup de femmes expertes dans le domaine des changements climatiques. Et nous voulons qu'il y ait plus de femmes expertes dans ce domaine pour qu'elles apportent leur expertise. Alors, cette masterclass, nous formons les jeunes pendant 6 mois sur tous les aspects liés à la problématique des changements climatiques. Bien sûr, avec le Covid, nous les formons à distance. Et donc, là, la masterclass de 2022 démarre demain avec la participation de 30 pays, 300 jeunes de 30 pays, en majorité des filles. Et donc, dans 6 mois, ils auront un certificat de formation en changement climatique. Juste préciser que nous prenons des jeunes de moins de 35 ans qui ont déjà un niveau Bac plus 5, master, diplôme d'ingénieur ou doctorat obtenu en cours, pour justement leur faciliter l'insertion dans le domaine du travail. Et nous sommes très fiers aujourd'hui de vous dire que 2 personnes formées par le 4C Maroc sont désormais à la Banque mondiale il y en a au PNUD, il y en a au Global Green Growth Institute, il y en a même qui aident maintenant la Commission climat du bassin du Congo et la Commission climat du Sahel. Donc, nous sommes vraiment très fiers et nous sommes ouverts pour voir justement comment est-ce que nous pouvons collaborer avec Région Four. Nous sommes vraiment à votre disposition si vous voulez en savoir plus. Et voir comment est-ce que nous pouvons appuyer davantage Région Four dans ce que vous êtes en train de faire. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you so much. This is exactly one of the things that connecting online does not allow for, is to have the real opportunities when we're traveling and connecting with the people and the right people in the right place at the right time. So we are really excited and we will be discussing further. This is the kind of partnerships that we would like to develop further. Technical capacity building, access to climate finance, and also very interesting to hear about the support to young women experts. So thanks so much. And with this, I'm really happy to conclude the session this morning, almost on time too. So thank you so much for everybody, and I'll give the floor now to Mr. Vice President.
Merci, Natalia. Honorable présence, les années 2020-2021 ont été bien éprouvantes pour nous tous. La pandémie liée à la COVID-19 et ses conséquences a concentré notre attention. Nous n'avons dû nous adapter à des nouvelles façons de travailler, gérer les nombreuses nouvelles réglementations applicables à nos activités et vivre dans un contexte d'incertitude et de contraintes inédites. Malgré tout cela, on a constaté que Regions 4, grâce aux efforts de ses membres, a pu garder une présence sur la scène internationale de plus en plus large et une grande participation dans les différents débats internationaux. De sa part, la région de Rabat-Salé-Kinitra va s'inscrire dans cette dynamique de défis pour dessiner ensemble, dans le cadre de notre réseau, de nouveaux rôles et orientations, surtout dans la période post-Covid. Nous allons considérer le monde post-Covid-19 comme une occasion pour notre réseau de mettre un agenda d'activités et d'actions adaptables à la situation actuelle et capable de répondre aux défis que connaissent nos gouvernements régionaux. Chère honorable assistance, chers membres, un territoire résilient, c'est notre objectif pour les années prochaines. Un territoire ayant la capacité à anticiper, à réagir et à s'adapter pour se développer durablement, quelles que soient les perturbations auxquelles il doit faire face. Je crois fort que notre volonté de réussir sera sans doute notre moteur pour agir. On peut agir et on va le faire ensemble. Merci. Donc, une conférence de presse aura lieu à 13h, donc à la salle au 4e étage. Et le déjeuner, et il sera aussi au sein de notre siège pour éviter les déplacements. Merci et à 13h.
Yes, please. We hope everybody will be in the room for 3 p.m. sharp, because we will begin the event of this afternoon in preparation for COP27. Thank you.
Can I just ask you a quick thing? For those of you who are traveling tomorrow, please contact Yasmine during the lunchtime. Pour ceux qui voyagent demain, contactez Yasmine pendant ce pause déjeuner pour discuter un peu la logistique, s'il vous plaît.
Nous voulons organiser le retour de ceux qui désirent le transport à l'aéroport. Donc, s'il vous plaît, donnez-moi vos plans de vol. Comme ça, on peut organiser selon des groupes ou bien individuels. Merci.
Buenos días.
Hola, Sergio, buenos días. Convocaron un receso. Convocaron un receso.
Hola, buenos días, señor Graf. No sé si me escucha.
Sí, sí le escucho.
Le escuchamos un poquito bajo. No sé si usted podría acercarse del micrófono.
Tengo audífonos, a ver, ¿le parece bien así? ¿O está muy bajo?
Un momento, voy a ver algo con la parte técnica.
Sí, si no voy a ver. ¿Cómo está, Sandra?
Todo bien por acá, muy de mañana, pero todo bien. Sí, Marisa no pudo estar porque tuvo un contratiempo familiar y tuvo que moverse a Puebla.
Válgame. Bueno, espero que todo vaya bien.
Pues falleció una tía, pero no sé si es de parte
Lo escuchamos, pero lo escuchamos un poco bajo.
A ver, ¿me escucha ahora?
Ahora sí mejor. ¿Puede hablar un poquito más?
Sí, buenos días a todos. Haciendo una prueba de sonido. No sé si me escuchan bien así.
Yo creo que pueda funcionar, pero entonces lo que recomendamos, habíamos invitados a los panelistas a conectarse un poco antes. Si usted puede atender a la sesión de práctica, se lo agradeceríamos mucho.
Sí,
porque
con mucho
como
gusto.
hay, ¿cómo?
¿Es en esta misma liga o es en otra liga?
No, ahorita no consigo escucharle, pero igual es porque hay muchas personas en la sala, así que no creo que será un problema. Pero por si acaso, si usted tiene otro micrófono a tener a mano, por si después lo podemos intentar practicar.
Sí, ¿a qué hora me conecto para la
Entonces
prueba?
sería a las 3 de Rabat. Un momento, voy a ver a qué.
Sí, pero antes, ¿no?
Sería a las 9 de la mañana.
Sí, pero a las 3 empieza y ¿a qué horas hacemos la prueba?
Sí, como media hora antes.
Entonces,
sí
yo me conecto a las 8:30.
Perfecto, muchas
bien.
gracias y muchas gracias por participar con nosotros, aunque esté muy temprano para usted. Lo
No,
agradecemos realmente.
Era muy importante. No quise intervenir porque ahí está Sofía, que va en representación de Jalisco y ella puede hacer las intervenciones, pero sí era importante estar presente en toda la sesión.
Ok, muchas gracias. Hasta luego.
Gracias.
Bueno, me despido, Sergio, que tengas
Bueno.
buen día.
Al
Estamos en
ratito, pues conéctate al rato va a haber unas
a las 9.
unos
Ok.
paneles en un rato
Claro que sí.
a las 9 de la mañana.
A las 9 me conecto. Sí, tengo una reunión con WRI de 8 a 9 y a las 9 estoy de vuelta por acá.
Te busco después para el tema de verificación.
Ok, claro que sí. Sale. Bye,
Bye.
bye. Pues bien.